Good day. This is Robert Radford with 50 years of chess. My next opponent is a man named M.Taylor. It might be Michael Taylor, I think. I'm sure I heard his name called Mike. This game is the oldest game I have recorded, going back to 1988. It was either 88 or 89, around then. Mr. Taylor was a very nice man. He was very much a gentleman. He was old school with the shirt and tie and a jacket, and probably in his 40s, late 40s. I was only about 35 at the time, so he was a good 10 years older than me, I'm sure. It was a match between South Bristol and Thornbury, but I think the match took place at Thornbury, not sure. Anyway, Mr. Taylor was white in this game, and it was interesting what happened, because I'll show you now. We begin with d4 by Mr. Taylor. Another thing about him, he was always on a top two board player, on one or two. He used to share the top boards with David Evans, who was one of the most well-known Thornbury players ever. He was a much older man. He would be passed on now. Bishop d7, bishop f4, knight d5 to harass the bishop and to bring my bishop into on g7 into play. Now I'm putting pressure on the d pawn, which is interesting. e3, queen b6. Now I'm taking a long hard look at the b pawn on b2, plus I'm adding more pressure on the centre with c takes b. So he played knight c6, knight c3, I beg your pardon. So my knight is at the moment is unprotected. So what I did was I pinned his knight so that I could continue with this assault against this queen side without risking losing anything. So when he played a3, I could now play knight takes c3. So there's no material to be lost here for me, but for him there is, because he went pawn takes bishop, knight takes, rook takes, and then pawn takes pawn. So even though I've got a double b pawn, I can protect it, and it's always going to be an extra pawn over that side for me. It does give him a slightly better centre. He could play c4, for instance, and have a solid centre if I don't go bc. So he played bishop c4. I played d6 castles, bishop f5, and he offered me a queen swap, a bishop swap on d3, which I obliged him. Now I'm able to support that extra pawn with a5. And this is where I want to put pressure on him now, down his queen side. He's gone to knight to d2, b5. I'd not played Mr. Taylor before, but I know he was a good player. I'd seen him playing on opposite board to me before, and he always either won or drew. Very rarely lost. He played c4, so I took with the b pawn. He took with the rook. Castled, so he has the opportunity to go down to c7 now. He's got a very slight edge, 0.2, but it's nothing to be concerned about. Not at the moment. So I played rook e8 just to protect that pawn. He's brought the other rook up now to put pressure on me. So I played knight a6. This is good because it really gives me a chance to do something. But he should have played rook b2, b7 I mean, and then that would have been better for him, but he brought the rook back to c3, and I dropped my knight into b4 to be a nuisance, because I'm threatening now. Knight a2, forking the two rooks. Could have gone rook a3, but he chose to go back to c7, and now I'll harass this rook again with knight d5. This is a continual harassment of the rook to stop him from settling into a strong position. Now he's gone back to c6. So instead of going b4, attacking his rook again, I brought the rook over from defending the e-pawn to b8. Now I've got 2 against 1 on this side, so there are chances for me here. He played king f1, I played king f8. Now he went in knight to e4. Not quite sure what he's planning here, but we'll see. King f8, e8, sorry, king e2. Then I played a4, king d2. So he sees the danger, and he's bringing his king across, because he knows I'm going to have an extra pawn, probably a passed pawn in a minute, or a blockaded pawn. So I brought my knight back into b6. I have a plan here. I have a plan that if he doesn't watch what he's doing, I can play knight into c4, and then king d7, and his rook will be lost. He will have to exchange it for the knight, giving me a very big advantage. So he played king c2. He obviously hasn't seen what I'm trying to do here. So I've gone in knight to c4, and now the trap is set. At this moment, he cannot get his rook out. There is a move he can play, which is d5, but he's gone into knight c3. So he's allowed me to play king e7, and now he's in real trouble, because when he moves the knight back to c3, but he should have played d5. There would have been problems after I come after him with. Even then, yeah, that's the truth of the matter is, looking at it, if we look back a moment at this move, even if he were able to get d5 in with his knight back on c3, d5, and then I play knight a5, where is he going to go with that rook? He can't even exchange it then. He can't. He's got it protected by a pawn, but he can't move it anywhere, and he's going to lose the exchange anyway. So he decided, and I retook with a pawn, and he understands that it's not only exchange down, but a pawn down, and in real trouble. This all happened by about move 30, and Stockfish has given me a 4.9 advantage now, which is shown a 1 game for black if played correctly. So I brought my rook up to a5, using the full line of this rank, the 5th rank. So I was able to push a pawn up there. He played rook a1 to put pressure on my a pawn. So I exchanged that pawn with his bishop, and then I attacked it again. And then it's gone back. Now rook to d8 check. If he would have played bishop back to g3, I would have been forced to defend with my 2 rooks. This would have given him a better game, but not much chance of winning. This appeals to him more because he can maybe come in and trouble me. but he's got to play his bishop back first. Now I push the pawn on because I want to open these, to have the 2 rooks on the 2 open files, and this is extremely dangerous for white. He took, I took. Now his position is getting critical. I've got a 5.4 advantage with stockfish, showing that I'm going about this the right way. He's gone e4, and so I've connected the rooks with some threats now to his game. He can't challenge me on with his rook on b1, because after we swap out after we swap these rooks for the rook and knight, my king's going to advance into that c5 square, and I can connect the f and e pawns together and then use that bishop as well. So he's brought the bishop back to protect the knight in case he has to move the rook at the king. Now this is dangerous. I played rook to a8. At the moment he's got the knight covering the a2 square, so it's not going to be a mate or anything at this time. So he's played rook d5. He wants to try and get in behind my c pawn. I just connected the rooks again, and now he's going for that. It would look like I'd have to play a rook to defend it, except that I've got other plans here. I sorted out the fact that I think I've got a mate in attack that he has to resign. He's gone back to c1. He should have went d1 because he's allowed me to play the bishop check, and he can't intervene with the bishop because he'll lose it. Now he's gone to d1 and I played rook a8. There's no getting out of this. There's no getting out of this because you can't stop rook a1 checkmate. There's nothing you can do. So that was the end of this game with Mr. Taylor, our one and only time that we met over the board. His rating at that time was around 131, which for the division we were in was not bad grade at all. Back in '88, I was only about similar to him, very similar rating to himself. So we, back in those days, it's a long time ago now. 88, 98, 08, 18, 37 years ago, was it? Something like that. Long time ago. So thanks for watching this game. I'm really sorry I can't find any more games from the 80s or late 70s that I played, because when we moved house back in 1980, somehow my older scorebooks went missing, and I don't know what happened to them. I'm sure I packed them, but when we moved, I think I must have left them behind at the old house, which was a shame. So I don't have anything beyond 1990 except this one game. If I do come across any more, if I can find any more, whether they're in archives or anything on the internet, I will share them with you. So, thank you very much for watching this game. I look to see you again very soon. Bye. So he decided to take